Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Michaela Kerrison, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1 Joanne Davey. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Our Lady of Mount Carmel School, Coorparoo, Queensland. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn the loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Sapper August Carl Meyer. August Meyer was born on the 30th of August 1896 in Petersburg, South Australia. Affectionately known as Gus, he was the youngest of 9 children born to storekeeper August Meyer Sr. and his wife Mary. He grew up in Western Australia and received his education at Subiaco State School. After his schooling, he went to work as a clerk and volunteered in the Goldfields Militia. August Meyer enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 21st of June 1915. He was assigned to the 2nd Reinforcements of the 28th Battalion with the rank of private and began a short period of training in Australia. He embarked for active service from Fremantle just a month later, sailing on board the troopship Demosthenes. Private Meyer arrived on the Gallipoli Peninsula in October 1915, after a brief time in Egypt. His introduction to the war was a quiet one, as he had joined his comrades after the August offensive. He spent the next 2 months manning the trenches and front lines before he was evacuated from the peninsula when the campaign was abandoned in December. Meyer and his comrades returned to Egypt, where they continued training as the AIF underwent a period of restructuring. He embarked for the Western Front in early March, arriving in the French port city of Marseille. His unit was immediately sent north to the Somme Valley, which had been the site of bitter fighting since 1914. There, his unit was engaged in training exercises and working parties until July, when they were sent into battle near the village of Pozières. Before his unit reached the front lines, Meyer contracted influenza and was sent to England for treatment. He remained in England until March 1917, when he was transferred to the 2nd Division Signals Company, taking on the rank of Sapper. He returned to the front as the enemy had made a strategic withdrawal to the fortified Hindenburg Line. His division eagerly followed the German retreat, which finally halted near the village of Bullecourt in April 1917, sparking 2 bloody clashes with the enemy, which cost more than 10,000 Australian casualties. Following the carnage of Bullecourt, the 2nd Division was moved to Ypres salient in Belgium. There they took part in costly battles at Menin Road, Polygon Wood, Polkapel and Brucinder Ridge. On the 15th of September, the enemy began to bombard Meyer's unit with gas shells. Meyer was one of several men that day who were poisoned by the mustard gas, which caused coughing, bloody nose, vomiting, nausea and burns to the skin. Meyer was transferred to hospital behind the lines for treatment and did not return to his company until November 1917. After a cold winter in the trenches, Allied units spent much of early 1980 fighting to repulse the German spring offensive, which threatened to break through key positions at Amiens and Villers-Bretonneux. In June 1918, Meyer returned to England on leave, where he became ill again and was hospitalised for several months. He rejoined his comrades in France on the 13th of November, 2 days after the armistice had been signed and the war was ended. By the end of the month, however, Meyer was again hospitalised with pneumonia. He was treated in a casualty clearing station for a week, but little could be done for him, and he died on the 5th of December 1918. He was buried at Lakato Communal Cemetery, where he lies today. 2 of his older brothers, Albert and Edward, had also been killed in action earlier in the war. The 3 brothers were remembered by their family in a simple memorial notice placed in the West Australian, which read, "All so sadly missed." Sapper August Meyer was just 22 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Sapper August Carl Meyer, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget,
Lest we forget. We leave this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.